Today's conspiracy theories, tomorrow's headlines. Most are still asleep and I ain't talking about no bedtime. The truth is not a Google search, you need to get your head right. The Greek goddess of illusion was called Media, and I'm not a coincidence theorist, I look for thread lines. Smashing every deadline, no longer smashing red wine. Though I can hear the bells chime, it feels like the end times. That probably should have been smashed on red wine, but the carnal mind is foolish. Obey and end up ghoulish. Don't get used by instinct, take control and learn to use it. Make a load of earnest music, earn a few quid, learn a few tricks. Sure, the truth is persecuted, this whole world is pure abusive. Know a bit about everything and everything about nothing. Figured out my noggin while you picture out shopping. You sit about watching while I dish it out, stop it. I don't mean to sound cocky, I'm not even proud of it. It's a second dish to me, just a minute out honest. I don't even need to sound honest, never been about profit. Everything but out on it, you can bet your house on it. Doubt I'll be out for the count when the sounds, and I'm down for the beat, no beat down. I mean, how long's it been? Help me out. I've been the only one who's held me down. All in the mind, hell freeze now. Still sick with it, healthy how? Few bars down and the world freaked out. I don't reach out, I seek out to speak out. I'ma recount the reasons they be out. I am not the way, no way. I have seen the way. Speak, repeat, there's no way.
Yo, what is up, everybody? How you guys doing? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this beautiful world. It is Thanksgiving week, and I am thankful for a lot. I'll be honest. And I'm going in the right direction. I'll be honest, a few years ago, I really more around this time, like around Thanksgiving. It's just it was like between Christmas and Thanksgiving, like November, December, I was just in my spirit. I guess this is about the time that I really feel thankful, really start diving deeper into my heart and my soul, and trying to express what I see beautiful in life and what I appreciate. And it always is that way, and I hope it is the same for you. Now, today we got some news. We're just going to keep it simple, all right? Now, last week was an anniversary of a Washington State legend. You see, we're here in Washington State. We got things in the mountains, cryptids, critters, Bigfoots. We got UFOs in the sky, aliens. We got all sorts of things, man. Now, there was a incident about in 1974, and I'm gonna go ahead and read it. It's called the crazy critter of Bald Mountain, an organism so unrelentingly weird that there is no parallel to it in the annals of cryptozoology or ufology. Nestled in the picturesque southern western corner of Washington State, about 20 miles east of Chialalis in Lewis County, is one of 15 peaks in the state referred to by locals as Bald Mountain. What sets this summit apart, however, is not its formidable heights of pastoral beauty, but a series of encounters with one of the most bizarre cryptids on record. The events in question ostensibly began in the evening of November 14th, 1974, when a numerous eyewitnesses claimed to see a fiery object plummet to earth approximately 5 miles away from Bald Mountain. Now, I think I have driven by Lewis County once. Yeah, I believe so. Maybe on my way to Portland-ish. Yeah, probably. So I mean, I'm not saying it's near Portland, but it's in that general direction along the coastline, kind of ish. Um, you know, so let's continue on. This extraordinary astronomical phenomenon was noted, but it wasn't until 3 days later that nearby residents would begin to grasp its potential significance. On November 17th, 1974, a grocer by the name of Ernest Smith was deer hunting near Bald Mountain when he stumbled across an immense animal so utterly unique that he justifiably hypothesized that it must hail from out of this world. In 1978 volume on High Strangest Cases Within the U.S., Weird America, Jim Brandon cited Smith's description of the creature in question. It was horse-sized, covered with scales, and standing on four rubbery legs with suckers like octopus tentacles. Its head was football shaped with an antenna sticking up. As the above description weren't already weird enough, Brandon went on to state that this superficially hybrid beast, which seemed to incorporate elements of insects, reptiles, and cephalopods, was also, according to Smith, bioluminescent. The thing gave off this green, iridescent light. It is unknown what the merchant's immediate reaction was upon being confronted by this astonishing apparition, or what reaction, if any, the animal had to the hunter. But at least in terms of Smith's emotional response, one can reasonably assume that words like shock and panic would barely traverse the tip of the iceberg. Luckily for the sake of his reputation, if not his sanity, Smith's story was soon after corroborated by a Tacoma couple, one Roger Ramsbow and his unnamed wife, who were driving through the Bald Mountain region past dusk on a fog-shrouded evening not long after the hunter's sighting. According to Brandon's reports, the pair were going along State Route 7, a nearly 60-mile stretch of road between Morton and Tacoma, when they suddenly noticed a side of the road. The confused couple slowed down for a better look at what they assumed to be a neon sign in the fog. Now, tell you what, dude. If I'm like seeing a neon glow, you know, I'm a think there's aliens. Okay, continuing. It was then that Ramsbow got the shock of their lives when they spied the same large self-illuminated tentacle-bearing monstrosity that Smith had just seen days before. Following the second incident, the regional press apparently got wind of these surreal encounters and christened the thing Crazy Critter of Bald Mountain. Soon after, Smith began to publicly speculate as to whether or not the luminescent beast he encountered had something to do with fiery objects seen falling in the area just days before. While there's no direct connection between these events, it's not difficult to assume that whatever this is still unclassified creature may have been, it's not of this earth. After reports of the creature hit the local papers, the sheriff of Lewis County, one William H. Weister, often misspelled as Wister, began an investigation into the sightings. But in a twist that will become as no shock to UFO enthusiasts, his inquiry was allegedly halted by individuals claiming to represent both NASA and the United States Air Force. These officials were alleged to have been heavily armed and clad in military uniforms that bore no insignia. That having been stated, it is reasonable to assume that the unit presumably hailed from likely headquartered at the nearby McCord Air Force Base. And I think I've passed by there as a kid. Needless to say, as soon as a special investigate team swooped in, all information regarding the crazy critter seems to have dried up. Many questions remain regarding this peculiar cryptid, the most obvious one being where the hell did it come from? Tentacles were simply not designed for terrestrial locomotion, and very few animals had bioluminescence. But if this was a sea dwelling creature, then what was it doing so far from home? The second most pressing query is what became of the creature? Did this evidently crack government unit of soldiers and scientists manage to capture the thing and secret it off to a clandestine government land for an endless battery of tests? If it was an extraterrestrial in origin, did it manage to escape back to its homeworld? Or if the ocean is from where Iteo. Did this odd varmint manage to slither back into the depths? We will never know. But that is a good story to start this thing off. Now, let's get a little bit more serious, you know? We just had to ease it down just a little bit. You know, I got to relax the emotions sometimes cuz man, the news, it's so bad. Look at this. So, I found this article from March 7th this year. And you know, if I would have read it in March 7th, which I think I probably did, and it's definitely in my intro, you would have not believed me. But the second article after this clarifies it, and that was just recently. So let's go ahead and check out this two-part piece. Russian Defense Ministry says that they found evidence of this U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. Deadly pathogens were urgently destroyed. Obviously, after the launch of the special military operations, Pentagon became afraid of the secret biological experiments in Ukraine will be exposed. We will share the results of the analysis of the documents we have received in the near future. Some of them, in particular, the Ukrainian Health Ministry's instruction to destroy pathogens and certificates of completion from the Kharkiv and Poltava biolabs we are publishing now. On March 6th, the Russian Defense Ministry said they found evidence of financed military biologically programmed from the U.S. developed in Ukraine during the ongoing military operation. Ooh, man. Ain't that intense, yo? Like, I mean, these video games like Call of Duty were kind of saying the same thing, though. You know, these pathogens included plague, anthrax, cholera, tularemia, and other lethal diseases infecting agents. When Russia began its military operation in Ukraine, an instruction was issued by the Ukrainian Health Ministry to urgently destroy the pathogens in their possession. Obviously, after the launch of the special military operations, the Pentagon became afraid. So, guys, now let's go ahead and check out this global research article from, let's see, November 10th, November 16th. It says Defense Department records reveal U.S. funding of anthrax laboratory activities in Ukraine. So, right here, Judicial Watch received 345 pages of records from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, a component of the U.S. Department of Defense, revealing that the United States funded anthrax laboratory activities in the Ukrainian biolab in 2018. Dozens of pages are completely redacted, and many others are heavily redacted. The records show $11 million in funding in the Ukraine biolabs program in 2019. The records were obtained in response to February 28th Judicial Watch Freedom Information Act request to the Defense Threat Reduction Agency for records regarding the funding of Black and Veatch involving work in any manner with biosafety laboratories in the country of Ukraine. So Black and Veatch is a biolab company. Hey, this is pretty intense, but let's not really get lost in that negativity. Because we know this is very real. And to the extent of what they wanted to do, they didn't pull it off. They would have had like the whole world murdered if they really pulled it off. But they didn't. Now, guys, we could all predicted that the truth would have came out. And there's psychic predictions constantly all throughout the world. Now let's read some for 2023. Psychic Dmitry Walsh claims that World War III will break out surrounding Russia and Ukraine. Donald Trump will go to trial and convicted of multiple felonies. Small town New Zealand Leslie Wallace predicts that a silent war will take place between Russia, China, and NATO countries. No county will allow a war to be declared, but many attacks will take place. Threats of civil war will become common in the U.S. as reaction to this group of centrists will form a new party advocating for peace and compromise, and will receive unexpectedly strong support. Inflation and war will cause huge spikes in the cost of living all over the world. There will be many protests and riot. Some claim Nostradamus' predictions claim a great war in 2023 that would last for 7 months and cause great destruction. He also said to have predicted civil unrest, famine, and natural disasters. Dmitry Walsh, the psychic, also claims weather associations around the world will be introducing new higher level classifications for weather events as climate change causes regular catastrophic natural disasters. This like uh push for normalization of natural disasters and like I mean not I mean it's just this weird thing. You see that they're changing the weather, but then they're also like trying to help people recover from it. So they're damaging things, but also helping people recover. It's so weird. There will be a completely unexpected huge earthquake in Tornado Valley in the USA that will be damaging earthquakes in Chile. Several other large earthquakes internationally will leave millions without power and food. There will be wild that are unprecedented in scale in Australia, southern US, and California. 2023 will be many large hurricanes that will cause coastal flooding in several parts of the world. These hurricanes will be much larger than anything we've seen before. A large solar flare will interfere with communications on Earth for a time. Leslie Wallace predicts that there will be an unusually high number of natural disasters of severe intensity all over the world. Every day will bring news of extreme weather events. So, now predictions for COVID and illnesses. Dimitri Walsh claims that COVID will become another seasonal flu. Leslie Wallace predicts that COVID will continue to kill people in large numbers, but the governments around the world will try to normalize this. Healthcare professionals will protest as a result. Another pandemic virus will begin to circulate with high transmissibility but low rates of severe illness. Other predictions. Dimitri Welsh claims that commercial space flights will become more common. True. Amazon will merge with another large company. Who knows? We'll see. New planets will be discovered. Comets will be discovered that will be near misses with Earth. Leslie Wallace predicts that the New Zealand's election will be held in November 2023. The election will be won by a national coalition with a margin of less than 1%. Jacinda Ardern will be offered a role of high standing in the UN. All right, guys. Um, Personally, I mean, I could see predictions actually do come true. Um, you know. All right, guys. So let's hit some cannabis news. Hey, Biden will sign part, bipartisan marijuana research bill passed by Congress this week. White House says President Joe Biden intends to sign a bipartisan marijuana research bill that was passed on Congress on Wednesday. A White House spokesperson confirmed to Marijuana Moment on Friday. The Senate approved the legislation on unanimous consent this week, 2 months after it cleared the House. The first piece of cannabis reform legislation in U.S. history to be transmitted to the president. As Bloomberg first reported, Biden will sign the legislation, which would give the U.S. Attorney General their approval given an application or request supplemental information from the marijuana research applicant. It would also create a more efficiency pathway for researchers who request large quantities of cannabis. Once the bill officially reached Biden's desk, he will have 10 days, excluding Sundays, to sign it or veto it. Otherwise, it would take effect without his signature. Yes, he'll sign it. The president remains opposed to federal cannabis legalization, but he campaigned on a number of more modest marijuana reforms, including promoting research, decriminalization, and rescheduling cannabis under the Controlled Substances Act. Hey, um, you know, we'll take what we can, and that's a win for now. The legalization of weed will be soon, baby. Yeah. Now we see it. Why? Because look at this. New York issues first 36 dispensary licenses for recreational marijuana. Now, what makes this cool is that the licenses approved were issued to many of the people who had past convictions for marijuana offense or with marijuana offenses in New York. So there were 8 nonprofit groups, and this is pretty cool news, right? You know, because they helped out the people that they first fucked over. So, um, like that's I mean, we appreciate that. The whole cannabis community should like definitely appreciate that. It seems like some people are trying to take the right foot forward, big step forward, and do the right thing. And this is it right here. New York planned a 200 million public-private funded to aid social equity applicants to help redress the ravages of the war on drugs, especially in communities of color. So, man, like people are sparking up in New York all over, and it's great. Like, man, I always imagine the day that like when we head out there to New York, we could smoke and how beautiful it would be, just like smoking weed running through New York. You know how without like really ever having a problem. You know, you could be anywhere sparking up. I mean, just act right and do your right thing, and everything will be good. This is a good time in history right now for us. Like 5, 10 years ago, the shit was bad. So now things are looking better, huh? I know that there's some problems in the world, but we can be thankful right here, like for this. Now, I don't know about this. It says a clinical grade vaccine called Game Changer, which is a fentanyl vaccine, could help people be saved. I'm thinking from fentanyl. I mean, look, I just want to put this out there. This is an interesting. A recent study published in the journal Pharmaceutics indicates that a fentanyl vaccine was able to block the drug from entering the brains of rats, thus making a worthy candidate for human studies and eventually something available to the public that can save lives from fentanyl overdose or even fentanyl poisoning. Uh, so I mean, that's good. The vaccination significantly reduced entry of fentanyl into the brain and anti-fentanyl on antibodies targeted fentanyl. So when fentanyl gets into the brain, it kills people. And it has, I guess, this vaccine had no cross reactions to other opioids. And hey, man, there's a huge problem with fentanyl poisoning, and it's killing millions. Um, so whatever, man. If this can help out people, I mean, but like this is a vaccine though, so it's gonna. I mean, people are gonna have to take the vaccine. Shit. Well, I mean, it's good though. You see, if people can stop dying from fentanyl, then that's a win. Next up, House lawmakers launch bipartisan psychedelics caucus. Ooh, see, guys, I'm telling you, psychedelics are on the rise. U.S. House of Representatives have joined forces to create the Congressional Psychedelics Advanced Clinical Treatments Caucus, a panel launched last week to advocate the research into psychedelic drugs and the healing benefit. The caucus, co-chaired by California Democratic Representative Lou Correa and Representative Jack Bergman, a Republican from Michigan who is also a retired lieutenant general with the United States Marine Corps. The new bipartisan caucus will advocate for research into psychedelics, including psilocybin and MDMA, which have shown great promise as potential treatments for a range of mental health conditions, including anxiety, treatment-resistant depression, addiction, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Having served our nation as a member of the United States military and in Congress, I've seen the destruction post traumatic stress disorder can cause on my fellow veterans and their families. Our job is to find solutions to these problems, and if psychedelic assisted therapy can help treat or even fully cure someone of their PTSD, we need to take a closer look at these potential life saving therapies. And look, mushrooms is a natural drug, it was used for thousands of years as a helper. MDMA actually stems from a natural plant. So that was also used as a plant medicine, a holistic medicine. So the Bipartisan Psychedelics Caucus will investigate modern research on psychedelic assisted therapies and advocate for expanded clinical research and future congressional funding for psychedelic studies. The panel will also examine federal barriers to psychedelics research and work to increase awareness of federal research into psychedelics and the potential therapeutic value of the drugs among other members of Congress and their staffs. The caucus does not plan to advocate for the decriminalization, legalization, or rescheduling of psychedelic drugs. In a statement, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies notes that a new caucus is made up of bipartisan lawmakers who are committed to addressing ways to alleviate the national mental health crisis through psychedelic science and research, which is what other countries in ancient times would do. They would encourage psychedelic use and they would have a thriving tribe. They wouldn't have people all evil, like legit. We are encouraged that the representatives Korea and Bergman are taking significant steps to bring the conversation about psychedelic research and therapy to Congress, said Ismaili Ali, the director of policy and advocacy for the nonprofit Psychedelics Research and Educational organization. This initiative will build upon the growing national interest in the potential of psychedelic care modalities to be incorporated into healthcare. We look forward to working with members of the caucus to educate their colleagues to replace drug war rhetoric with science, evidence, and compassion. Although preliminary studies have shown that psychedelics have the potential to treat mental health disorders, Rachel Yehuda, director of the Center for Psychotherapy and Trauma Research and the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, said that the further study is still needed. Despite the initial promising results, so much more research is needed to determine efficiency and durability of these findings. To better understand the psychotherapy needed to support psychedelic journeys and to identify who can safely benefit. But to date, it has been difficult for investigators to properly vet these treatments because conducting the trials with Schedule 1 compounds involves so many hurdles. So once like I could see that these Schedule 1 drugs like mushrooms and LSD and cannabis will be reduced to 0, Schedule 0 or 5, or it's just gonna be non-hurtful, Schedule 4, whatever. Schedule, like, it's just they're gonna totally flip around everything that they ever knew about this, everything that they ever said about how it was damaging. It will not be that way anymore. Korean Bergman announced that the creation of the PAC caucus on the same day that Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey and Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, announced that they had introduced legislation that would require the Drug Enforcement Administration to reclassify breakthrough therapies such as psychedelic psilocybin MDMA. The bill, known as Breakthrough Therapies Act, is designed to ease access to psychedelic drugs for patients and streamline further research into the compound. Recent studies suggest that some Schedule 1 substances, such as MDMA and psilocybin, could represent an enormous advancement for the treatment of severe post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and addiction. Booker said in a statement from the senator's office on Thursday, unfortunately, regulatory red tape and a series of bureaucratic hurdles involved in studying Schedule 1 substances impedes critical research on these and other promising Schedule 1 compounds. This bill reduces these unreasonably burdensome rules and regulations that delay and prevent researchers from studying and patients from accessing this entire class of potential medicines. Hoorah! Yo, let's go. Psychedelics for everyone, mushrooms for everyone. Yeah. Hey, but in the helpful, healing, positive way, not no like evil. Let's get lost and lose our mind. Wait, you know what I mean? I'm not like with that. All right, dude. You know what I mean? I'm all about that pro life. I'm all about that positive life. And hey, you know what? Is positive. The nose knows. Study shows aroma drives cannabis consumer appeal. So, our nose knows what we want. Like, everything is based on terpenes, and we got like 100 million little nose receptors, and it's pretty awesome because we feel these flavoroids, these terpenes, these essences, these nutrients, metals. We actually do smell all this different stuff out there. Like we can smell the dirt, we can smell the flowers, we can smell the water, like everything. Uh, and just like we don't know how to really say it on a dial, but our nose knows. Yo, so um, so right here it's just a study that our nose is like really knowing what we want, and uh you know in the cannabis industry, the the best smelling flower is like what we're really wanting. So like, that's good, because if the studies were showing that people were buying flower with no smell, that would be bad. But we're on the right track, and we know what we want. We know what our nose knows. Yeah. Next up, Russia signals that Griner could be released. Hey guys, remember Brittany Griner is over there in Russia in jail because of some weed, some bullshit. Well, Sergei Vyevkov, Russia's deputy foreign minister, said on Friday that there was fresh activity surrounding a potential prisoner swapper involving Griner, who was transferred to Russian penal colony earlier this month, and Victor Bout, a Russian arms dealer currently serving a 25-year prison sentence in the United States. Oh, we haven't found common ground yet, but undoubtedly Victor Bout is among those being discussed, and obviously we are hoping for a positive result. Wow, so Russia gets its arm dealer and America gets its basketball player back. Even trade? Yeah, but the State Department splashed cold water on that, saying that Russia has not been serious party to the negotiations. We are not going to comment on the specifics of any proposals other than to say that we have made a substantial offer that the Russia Federation has consistently failed in good faith. The U.S. government has continued to follow up that offer and propose alternative potential ways forward with the Russian government. The Russian government's failure to seriously negotiate on these issues and the established channel, or any other channel for that matter, runs counter to its public statements. So, I don't know. America and Russia are fucking having a little tissy. I want this. No, I want that. It's like they just can't come together. And, like a couple years ago, before all this shit happened, pandemic and all this craziness in Ukraine, Russia and America were actually friends. I mean, they were actually holding joint operations. Watch this. We're gonna pull this up live. So, so here's one article showing you U.S. parallel military drills in Balkans. Yeah, I mean, there's more. I'm just not gonna get into it right now, actually. Okay. So let's continue on. In a court hearing, Planned Parenthood employee admits to trafficking baby body parts. Yo, this ain't this ain't fake, man. This is real. Day one, a preliminary hearing for pro-life activist David Daolidin kicked off Tuesday morning in the San Francisco Superior Court with testimony from an abortion technician, a third trimester abortionist, and a vice president of National Abortion Federation who testified she doesn't know what a human tissue procurement company is or does. NAF Vice President of External Affairs Melissa Fowler also testified. STEM Express, a human tissue procurement lab exposing Daladin's undercover videos is now under federal investigation as a repeat vendor for her nonprofit organization. NAF is a third party abortion trade group. The 9-day hearing is the first time Planned Parenthood leaders and affiliates have publicly gathered and testified in court since Daledin's Center for Medical Progress published 11 undercover videos featuring Planned Parenthood leaders discussing and in some videos displaying the harvesting and selling of aborted fetal organs and tissues. Daledin and his colleague Sandra Merritt face 14 criminal felony counts of eavesdropping and one count of conspiracy. The case marks the first time charges of eavesdropping have ever been made in California. During the hearing, the judge will determine if there is probable cause for Daledin and Merritt committing a crime. So, if so, will schedule for a dated trial. Separately, the hearing for a civil case against Daledin and Merritt will be held on September 30th. Now, I believe this got dropped. Most of day one was devoted to prosecuting attorney general's primary witness. In it, the AG focused almost entirely on the security and application process for NAF trade shows. Dale didn't attend a trade show in disguise and secretly recorded conversations with Planned Parenthood employees. Fowler admitted no responsibility for NAF security or trade show management, but refused to acknowledge video recording was never mentioned in the rules and regulations presented to exhibitors at the time of application. She also testified that pro-life activists are violent. Fowler testified she met with the Attorney General office in April to discuss questions the prosecutor would ask in preliminary hearing, and that she was being paid as an employee NAF to attend and testify, including travel expenses. After Fowler, Doe 7 took the stand, a non-physician who performed surgical abortions at Planned Parenthood, Northern California. She testified she regularly provided fetal tissue from the abortions she did and heard of money exchanges with STEM Express. When presented video evidence of her conversation with Daledin, Doe 7 testified that numerous third parties could overhear the conversation, an important point of debate in the charge of the eavesdrop. Final minutes of Tuesday's hearing, Doe 3, a third trimester abortion, took the stand, at which time the AG's office played a nearly 20-minute video, never before released undercover video of their conversation between her and Daledin, describing in some of the courtroom as shocking. Planned Parenthood abortion providers appeared under oath in court today and admitted supplying the body parts of children in the womb to for-profit brokers like STEM Express, Daledin said Tuesday. Meanwhile, the vice president of the National Abortion Federation denied any knowledge of the gruesome trafficking of fetal body parts, despite hosting STEM Express as a major vendor at the trade show. The first day of testimony confirmed what we have been saying all along. This is a biased attack on First Amendment civil rights and a political prosecution to shield Planned Parenthood from accountability for their crimes against women and children. Daledin says U.S. Senator and presidential candidate Kamala Harris, who was California's attorney general when he was charged, used her law enforcement and political power to destroy him. He says Harris's office ordered a raid on his apartment, during which 11 agents tore through his belongings and took expensive camera and video equipment. Daledin on Monday, in a tweet, called the charges bogus and an attack on free speech to punish dissenting thought. Daledin also notes that although it's been 4 years since his undercover videos revealed what the abortion industry does with human remains it generates, the federal government has not canceled contracts and grants for work that uses body parts obtained from deceased human children. It's unconscionable for the Health and Human Services Department of Pro-Life Administration to be every month basically setting these abortion quotas, having a number of orders for fresh fetal body parts. These are their own words and their own contracts that they're ordering and expecting to receive from abortion clinics every month for taxpayer-funded experimentation. Daledin said in January they spend over $100 million each year in taxpayer money on this, and that number has increased in the past 2 years. It has gone down. Daledin compares his undercover work to the Project Dakota Flyer, a sting operation by Fish and Wildlife Services that unveiled a black market for eagle feathers and body parts, leading to the Department of Justice investigation of 15 defendants. You would think harvesting, trafficking, selling human body parts was just as concerning for harvesting, trafficking, and the selling of bald eagle body parts. Legal minds warn against pro lifers, believing Daleton will be cleared of charges because he was acting as a citizen journalist. Generally speaking, journalists have to follow the law in investigating their stories, wrote Eugene Volokh, a University of California, Los Angeles law professor. If the law bans using false documents or offering to buy fetal tissues or recording conversations without all parties' consent, journalists are bound by that no less than anyone else. In the same discussion, Harvard constitutional scholar Noah Feldman warns Deldon's amateur activism may or may not have crossed ethical lines, but if he crossed legal lines, he can legitimately be prosecuted. The Los Angeles Times published an editorial on March 30th, 27, criticizing Harris' successor, Attorney General Xavier Becerra, who took over the case. It's disturbingly aggressive for Becerra to apply this criminal statute to people who are trying to influence a contested issue of public policy, regardless of how sound or popular that policy may be. So I'm going to give you a timeline. July 14th, first undercover video shows Planned Parenthood doctor bargaining over baby body parts. August 21st, 2015, a circuit judge reverses a previous court order that prohibited CMP from releasing videos featuring any STEM Express employees recorded May 22nd, 2015. July 24th through October 28th, second through 11th undercover videos released. September 15th, 2015, Daleden's legal team files a mandamus petition to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit to overturn a district court ruling that would force them to defend against meritless claims brought by the National Abortion Federation. However, the Ninth Circuit ruled against the mandamus. Therefore, the defense must produce discovery, an extremely time-consuming and expensive process to defend against NAF's claims. Despite being challenged, a federal court rules. Oh, okay. So October 2015, despite being challenged, a federal court rules CMP can send and release unreleased undercover videos to Congress. January 14, 2016, Planned Parenthood files a second RICO lawsuit against Daleton. January 25th, 2016, Daleton and his fellow undercover investigator Susan Merritt are indicted by a Grand Texas jury for alleged criminal activities. Thomas More Society is working to defend Daleton. March 28th, 2017, the Attorney General of California charges Daleton and Merritt with 15 felony charges under California law. 14 of the charges are based on claims the pair recorded alleged confidential communication between strangers at public conferences and at public restaurants. The 15th charge alleges Daleton and Merritt conspired together to commit the crime of recording confidential communications. January 2018, FBI and Department of Justice opened investigation of some of the largest Planned Parenthood affiliates, including STEM Express, as a result of their undercover videos. April 6, 2018, the Supreme Court upholds a gag order preventing Daleton from publishing more investigative videos he recorded while undercover, sending the case back to the trial court, where it has been stayed since Daleton appealed the gag order 2 years ago, allowing the National Abortion Federation a sigh of relief. April 19, 2019, California Supreme Court issues a stay, delaying the preliminary hearing in felony trial for Daleton, in which his attorneys would present a defense including unseen undercover videos of abortion providers. January 8th or June 8th through 11th, 2019, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals rules to let stand the $195,000 fine ordered by a federal judge to cover the legal fees and costs of the National Abortion Federation to cover legal fees and costs for added security due to the video's release. Daleton starts a GoFundMe page. July 2019, federal judge rules to trim down damages alleged in Planned Parenthood's lawsuit from the $20 million lawsuit to less than $100,000. September 3rd, 2019. Preliminary hearings begin. Now, I do have an update, I believe. Oh, wait. Um, so I guess this is a second video. STEM Express dropped its lawsuit against Center for Medical Progress. So David Daleden works for Center of Medical Progress, and I'm not gonna watch this video. This is disgusting, but here's an update, guys. The Ninth Circuit partly affirms and partly reverses judgment for Planned Parenthood over secret recordings. All right, guys. So here we go. From like I think last month. Yeah. Let's see what happened. Defendants Defendants, appellants, use fake driver's license and false tissue procurement company as cover to infiltrate conferences, and plaintiffs' appellees hosted or attended using the same strategy. The appellants had also arranged and attended lunch meetings with Planned Parenthood staff and visited Planned Parenthood health clinics. During these conferences, meetings, and visits, appellants secretly recorded Planned Parenthood staff without their consent. So I guess they got sued. Whoever, I guess this is. um, Huh. Okay. I'm just gonna read this for what it is. This is too confusing. Planned Parenthood sued Apollons for monetary damages and injunctive relief. After pre-trial motions and a 6-week trial, Apollons were found guilty of trespass, fraud, conspiracy, breach of contracts, unlawful and fraudulent business practices, violating civil RICO, and violating federal state-wide wiretapping laws. Planned Parenthood was awarded statutory, compensatory, and punitive damages, as well as limited injunctive relief. Appellants argue that the compensatory damages awarded did not show that they violated federal wiretap. So, um, dang, I believe this is the Daleden case. I'm not too sure. It actually does not even say. Interesting. All right, continue on. Now, this is where it gets a little weird, guys. I'm going to read 3 articles, and this is just real. This is not a conspiracy, but hey, you guys like conspiracy theories. Los Angeles Times from March 22nd, 1991. Girl tells court in satanic trial of blood ritual. An 11-year-old girl told a Superior Court Thursday that she was sexually abused by her grandmother and made to drink human blood during satanic rituals in a secret cave. Dressed in a pink flowered jumpsuit, the blonde cherubic girl testified at the age of 2 she was taken in a limousine with both her grandparents while her grandfather, now deceased, picked up prostitutes. When she was about 4 years old, she was forced to drink blood out of a glass and eat human flesh. They also gave her a drug that would make her hypervigilant. Whoa. We're not hearing the words of a little girl, but the words of other people. The little girl is victim of environment. Uh, this is crazy. The girl's mother, 48, and her aunt have filed a civil lawsuit against their 76-year-old mother, alleging she ritualistically abused them and her granddaughter beginning in the infancy. The white-haired septuagenarian, now living in Mission Viejo, insists that none of it ever happened. Allen had suggested that the 48-year-old woman who had suffered a myriad of man, this is oof. For 3 days, the 48-year-old mother has told Orange County Superior Court Judge Robert D. Monarch and his jury lurid and bizarre tales of black-robed adults committing ritual rape and incest, of being made to witness ghastly murders, and of being drugged, bound, and tortured with knives and electric shocks. In a tale reminiscent of the horror novel Rosemary's Baby, the woman testified that she was impregnated by a cult member at the age of 11 or 12, then forced to murder her 6-month-old baby during a satanic ritual in a cave in a dusty local mountains more than 35 years ago. She became pregnant at 14 after her father prostituted her in motel rooms, but cult members, including her mother, induced an abortion when it was discovered that it wasn't Satan's baby. To cope with the abuse, the woman said she developed more than 10 personalities. Like, oh shit. This is the same thing that happened just in the fucking Utah case, and this was at the Utah case. Remember the satanic ritual abuse Utah case that my YouTube video had, it has in its title. This is a huge thing. Oh wow, this is from 1991 though. This is crazy. The girl then recounted graphic tales of the sexual abuse by her grandmother, bloody rites in secret caves, and violent threats about what would happen if she told anybody. Now, continuing on, look, March 6, 2017, Missouri teen tells courts that the girl's murder was plotted as a satanic sacrifice. A Missouri teenager has pled guilty to murdering another teen and saying that the killing was part of a satanic sacrifice. Amanda Bennett, 17, had lost her plea from not guilty to guilty of second-degree murder of Caitlin Root. She said she told the court that she and Sebastian Dowell had decided in October that they needed to kill 2 people a year as part of the demonic religion. What the fuck? Who we just seen fucking Offset die in October. Bennett said that she consequently messaged a couple of depressed people Facebook, and when Root responded, she arranged to meet up with the girl in the park. While the three walked along a jogging trail in Hyde Park, Bennett testified she was advised that it was time to carry out their plan. That she struck Root with a stick, and then Dowell knocked the girl onto the ground, choked her, and inserted a syringe into her neck. That they needed Dowell soon told Bennett that they needed to stab Root in order to killing for to be a pure sacrifice. According to the news press now, Bennett told the court that the two then stripped Root of her clothing. When they saw the teen standing up, Dowell stabbed her again, notifying Bennett that they must cut Root's throat. Wow. So whoa. Remember, so I guess in a previous report, another alleged satanic murder, Miguel Alvarez Flores and Diego Hernandez Rivera, were arrested last week and charged with kidnapping 3 teenage girls in Texas and killing one to appease Satan's desire for a soul sacrifice. Jesus Christ. According to reports, Alvarez Flores and Hernandez Rivera, who are members of MS-13, lured the girl into a gang life. One of the teens, Gemesis Cornejo, was killed after she struck the satanic shrine that the men had erected in their apartment. According to a witness, Alvarez Flores, who also goes by the name Diabolico, sought to make a peace offering of a lit cigarette to the demonic image, but advised the other gang members that the beast rather desired a sacrifice. He returned to the statue and told the entire group that the beast did not want a material offering, but wanted his soul. Fucked up, man. And this was all stemmed because of this article just from a couple days ago. A man, man, a man allegedly killed and dismembered a woman as part of a satanic sacrifice in Texas. Police in Shelby County said Ethan Myers had been apprehended in connection to a homicide investigation. Deputies responded to a welfare check on St. County Road 3625 in Joaquin, and they discovered Sarah Hobson, 36, dead. Myers was arrested for evading arrest and booked into the county jail. Man, when police arrived, they found a dead body wrapped in a carpet in the bedroom, which had appeared to be freshly painted. Another investigator said they noticed fresh paint on Price's leg, which led them to suspect an attempt had been made to conceal evidence. The same document said that while investigator waited for the delivery of the search warrant, Myers' mother arrived at the office and told her son he is hiding in the woods, that Hobson wanted him to sacrifice her. Myers' mother said that he hears voices and is satanic. An investigation found Hobson had large wounds on the side of her head and forehead, and that body parts had been dismembered. When Myers' car, they found a shovel and a rock that matched the shape of wounds in Hobson's head. Jeez. So fucking Texas is bullshit. Sorry guys, sorry Texans. But man, there's a lot of satanic rituals over there. To get off of that shit, look, this is just gonna end it. Alabama is pausing executions after third failed lethal injection. So you guys heard that. Three failed lethal injections, and they're just giving up. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey sought a pause in executions and ordered a top to bottom review of the state's capital punishment Monday after an unprecedented third failed injection. Yeah, this was just this week, actually, today. Ivey also requested that Marshall did not seek additional execution dates for any other death row inmates until the review is complete. Hey, look, man, um, I'm not saying good or bad, but as far as the legality of why they're in jail, who cares? As far as what if it's like extremely bad or good in this current moment, right? But let's just look at for the whole world. We see that there's countries other like Norway and Sweden, Switzerland, some of these that not just those three, but some of these European countries and some of these other countries and um, other parts of the world, their reformation of jailed people and imprisoned people and is totally different. They don't have to kill people. Some of these reformation camps actually turn people around, like even the world murderers over there in some of these European countries. I'm not saying all, but in some of these places, their reformation rate is like through the roof. Like 99% of the people never ever have a problem again because of the way that they treat them. They actually put them in jail, but in like a real house, and they feed them real food, and they give them real clothes and let them work out outside and like with a real yard and garden and shit. So it's a lot different than America. America, you put them in steel bars and a concrete floor and like call them fuckers. You're like fucker, fucker. But in other countries, they're like, hey, you got a chance. You can change. And for me, I mean, I had people around me, my family and I, and we've been through it. Um, everyone I know families that have been through it. I know a lot of people who are on both sides of the law, against it and for it. And here in America, it's a fucked up thing. We don't need to be like killing people. We definitely don't need to be seeing all those jail beatings and jail rapes and those jail overdoses, those all that shit that goes on in American jails. It's absolutely atrocious. That doesn't really happen in some of these other systems in other parts of the world. So this right here, I personally think this is good. Alabama pausing executions. I don't want to see any life taken. Um, and that's gonna wrap it up, guys. Hey, you guys have a wonderful day. I love y'all. Take it easy. Be blessed. Be high. But first, but last, I guess, whatever. I just want to go ahead and shout out my sponsors. Boomer Boost. Go ahead, check out the vitamins. Get your body right, the mind right, your soul shining. For the last few years, I've been using them, and they have took my life to new heights. Go ahead, check out their vitamins and supplements. Grade A barley and grade A premium blends. Use coupon code 509 Divine Pines 10 off your order at boomerboost.com. Also, check out tweedlefarms.com/509 Divine Pines to activate a 20% off coupon code on hemp, tinctures, oils, lotions, bath bombs, everything that you can think of, different flavors and different highs, man. They got everything. Really, they do. It's amazing. Go ahead, check it out. Thank me later, man. 20% off your order at 509 Divine Pines. Coupon code at Tweedle Farms. Also, hey man, you guys want to go ahead and drink some premium water or have some hydrolyzed water gas go through your system and heal you? Check out over at eagle-research.com. You will thank me later. This is some new technology that is being used in Korea, Japan. I'm sure in some of these other highly technologically advanced places, this is not a banned technology. And hey, man, it costs pretty penny, but there's also some, affordable prices, affordable piece. Use my coupon code 509 Divine Pines for 20% off your order at AquaCure. Also, hey, you guys need some water filters in your house. I know you do. A lot of you do. You know why? Because a lot of you just stink. I'm playing, but look, man, we know that sometimes we don't really care about the water filters, and sometimes we think that we should. And hey, you guys definitely should pick up the water filters that my sponsor has left for y'all. Naturalaction.com provides a structured watered premium filter for your house. You can get a on-the-go premium water filter, and you see it right here. So go ahead, use my coupon code 509DP-10 for your order under $2,500 at 10%. Use coupon code 509DP-20 for your 20% off orders over 2,500. Look, we need some clean water in our system to really be vibrating at that highest rate, and this is it. You'll thank me later. I promise you, you'll love the way your water feels at your house, and you will love what is happening under your sink, on the go, in your shower. Hey guys, go ahead, check it out. Naturalaction.com. Hey, they even got a mineral supplement for your water bottles. All right, use coupon codes 509DP-10 for orders 2,500 or under at 10% off, and 509DP-20 for orders over 2,500 at 20% off. Hey, I love you guys. Peace out and have a wonderful day. Later. Be blessed and be high.
Meditating, analyzing everything I see, so I see new horizons. Took the acid, feeling blasted in my brain, so I've been sitting up inside it, thinking about the present and the future. I'm improving cause I am a trooper, never getting caught up in the loop. Got up out it cause I found the truth. Woke up to a beauty of the day, the sun is shining, so I'm finna stay sitting, soaking up all of the rays, till I feel it surging through my brain like some booger sugar. Did a lot of cane, experimented with it, couldn't name all the times I did it, feeling like a fade. Yeah, I'm really glad that I let it go, cause I gotta be prepped for the time when the plane ride is a new norm. So I know I'm gonna stay high, blaze on the ganja, feeling like I make my music go to another level while I take off. I can't ever stop this, fell in love with it, fit like a glove, so I'm never ever done with it. So now I'm about to rip another beat, ayy. One day I'll make a million in a week, yeah, shooting for the top spot. Feel like I'm a hot shot, like I really got a chance with it. I will not flop, somebody gonna make a dance when I pop off. Gonna have all the bitches taking all the tops off. I've been feeling like I'm really gonna kill it for the rest of my life, so I've been staying focused. In my soul, I've been feeling like $1 million, so I know know that everything is really getting closer. Yeah, no posers, only been hanging with the ones I've chosen. Only all the people that are living in the right way, cause they spending every day growing. Yeah, no whole shit coming in my life and then leaving in a moment. That's the shit I'll never let into my life again, cause lately I've been feeling like I'm golden. Never showboat, I just showcase on my music that I made this far. Always knew that I could be the one that would get this far. Now I'm right here looking in my mirror, trying to figure out if there's any more fear, cause I'm getting rid of it all, yeah, I'm getting rid of it all. Meditating, analyzing everything I see, so I see new horizons. Took the acid, feeling blasted in my brain, so I've been sitting up inside it, thinking about the present and the future. I'm improving cause I am a trooper. Never